This is our 10 a.m. special today. You're with Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training, and this is Tuesday, the 1st of June 2021. It's our additional snack today, which is about progress checks and our movement of the month. Now, if you have the calendar, right at the very front on the second page are our progress checks. So we're going to look at our shoulder mobility, our back of thigh mobility, our 4-point progress check, and our chair rise progress check. Right, let's get ourselves going, shall we? We're going to have a little bit of a circulation booster just to loosen things up firstly, and then we can get ourselves going. So I'm going to swipe the comments off the right. You can do the same if you want, George. And we'll get ourselves all ready to go. I'll pop that down there so I've got it to hand. So let's start in standing. We're using support if we've got it available and if we need it. Even if you don't feel you need it, have it there, especially for that 4-point balance, okay? Posture-wise, our heels are in line with our knees and our knees are in line with our hips. We've got to lift and lengthen up from our hips to grow that little bit taller, and shoulders coming up, back and down. In seated, then what we've got is our back against the chair to start off. Inevitably, we always sit like this. So let's bring the back off the chair, and then let's lift and shift and hip walk into the front third. This is where we station ourselves for our movements. Okay, we've got that tall lifted posture again, and let's start with our circulation boosting. So just a little bit of movement into those feet, coming up onto the balls of the foot, lifting the heel off and getting some regular movement happening. From there, we can start to make it a little bit bigger by bringing a march in, lifting the foot off the floor, and it's only a small lift, but this enables us to get the toes to point down a little bit towards the floor, so we start to get some mobility into our ankles as well. Now, seated wise, if you need to bring it back down, remember you can always bring it back down. A lot of work into your hip flexors in this seated position. In standing, we can see that movement a little bit clearer as far as the toes pointing towards the floor is concerned. Let's pop an arm movement in as well, driving the elbow backwards, making sure that the drive is from the elbow. We're not just swinging that arm, we've got that driven movement. And then change to the other side. Now, if you're using support, what you're going to do to change hands is pop the hand down and then bring the other hand in. Always having a hand on the support as you do it. So if you've got your support in front, you can change hands as regularly as you want to. If your support is to the side, however, it's going to be a little pause, as many steps as you need to turn into your support, and then you can start again on the other side. Seated, standing, if you feel steady and stable, both arms in together with both legs, and we get a bigger movement happening, which means that we get more demand for blood, more demand for oxygen. So we start to feel the heart rate going up a little bit. We start to feel us breathing a little bit heavier, and that is what it's all about. That is us boosting our circulation. A couple of minutes in total is all we're looking for as far as this is concerned. Then we can slow it down a little bit, bring it to a pause, and there we are, we're ready to go. So let's have a look at our progress checks first. So pen and paper handy. Remember, we've got 4 progress checks. We've got our shoulder mobility. We've got our back of the thigh. We've got our 4-point balance, and we've got our chair raises. So let's have a look at our shoulder mobility firstly. Seated position is probably best for this, so you can really just focus on that mobility within your shoulder. You can do it in standing if you want to, but I find in seated, we've got less things to worry about. We can just focus on that position. So into your chair, if you're coming from standing to seated, feel the chair behind, lower with control into that chair, have a little respite there, a little pit stop, a little switch off, sit away from the chair, lift and shift into the front third. Now, I'm going to turn my back on you so you can see the movements. We have our external rotation and our internal rotation. So external rotation is here, internal rotation is here. We'll do the external first. So I'm just going to square myself on with you so you can see. So external rotation, one hand at a time. Make a note of which hand you're going to do. Bring it up and between your shoulders. Now, make a note of where you can reach and take it to where is comfortable for you. Make sure your head stays nice in line, so we're not tipping the head across, we're not sort of scrunching the shoulders to come down a little bit. So we've got that good movement. So keep your head and neck upright. Bring your hand over and make a note of where you're going to as far as that shoulder movement is concerned. So where can you reach with that arm? Now also make a note of which arm it was. So that was my left hand, for instance. Where could I take it? I can take it between my shoulder blades. So if we have a look at our progress check on here, look, we can see that if I can reach between my shoulder blades, then I've got a 4. So good range of motion there. Your movement positions are touch my ear, touch the back of my head, touch my neck, base of my neck, or the shoulder blade. That is our movement. So we do it on the left side or the right side, and then do exactly the same on the other side. Now you may find that you have more mobility on one side than the other, and that can be perfectly normal. Just make sure you focus on this good alignment as far as the head and neck is concerned. So we've got the alignment there. Yeah, we're not scrunching the neck down, we're not getting ourselves a little bit closer or tip it across to the side. Everything is level. All right, that is our external rotation. So if we take it to the other degree, we take it to our internal rotation. And with our internal rotation, what we're looking at here is this movement here. Okay? Now, we can just make a note of this one. It's not in your progress checks, but I think it's a good one to actually do. So, arm comes up behind, we reach towards the middle of the back, and it's a case of where can we reach. So can we reach down here to our bottom, the small of our back? Can we come a little bit closer? Can we come between our shoulder blades? Again, head is level. Now, the reason I want to do that for you is because I want to show you that I have less mobility on one side. So it is perfectly normal sometimes. I had an injury on my shoulder a number of years ago. Good mobility in my shoulder, but that internal rotation I struggle with on that side. So here, look, have a look at my left side. You can see that I've got quite a good reach. But if I take it to my right side, can you see I'm sort of limited there? I can't go any further. And that is a little bit uncomfortable on my shoulder there. So if I'm going to do it with real comfort, I'm probably about there. Yeah. So although that's not one of our progress checks, I wanted to show you that so you can see that sometimes we do have less mobility on one side than the other. And that can be perfectly normal. That doesn't mean we can't improve it. And that's what our missions are all about, trying to improve and maintain and improve those ranges of motion. Okay, let's go to the back of our thigh. So in our seated position again, we're going to extend the leg out in front. I need to come back because you can't see my leg, can you? You can't see my foot. So we're here, we extend the leg out in front. We're sitting tall. The other foot is flat on, and with our hands, we're going to bring ourselves down, hinging from our hip to come forward. Now, we're not rolling those shoulders forward, we're not bending at the hip. So sitting tall, and all we're going to do is reach down our leg. Take it to where we feel comfortable. Okay? That's it. Lovely. We make sure we keep the back straight in this one. And go to where you feel comfortable. So you might find, okay, actually I can reach my toes, look, but I'm starting to twist here. The technique has gone. So it's about where you can do it with good technique. So if you have a look, if you've got your calendar, you have a look in there, it tells you. Sit towards the front of the chair, one foot flat on the floor, the other extended straight with the foot flexed, so toe pointing upwards. Slowly reach forward, keeping the back straight, hinging at the hips, and slide the hands, one on top of the other, to the tips of the middle of your fingers, okay? And that's where we measure. So, if you try to do it with one hand, that's where you're going to get this little bit of a rotation. You are going to be set up here, so you've got a good base of support. Look, we've got this one foot flat on the floor, the other foot, the heel is down, the toes are up, so we've pointed the toes. This knee is soft. Place one hand on top of the other and decide which one feels more comfortable. Keep the back straight, keep ourselves lifted, and hinge from your hip to come down to where is comfortable for you. Make a note of it, and your pointers here, look, are, just so you can see, can reach my knee, I can reach the top of my shin, I can reach mid shin, I can reach my toes, and I can reach beyond my toes. My belly gets in the way, to tell you the truth. So I can go to sort of mid to bottom shin. That's it for me. Okay, So that is our second progress check. From there, let's go into our 4-point balance. Now, our 4-point balance is a measurement of how we're balancing, basically. How are we balancing 4 different positions? If standing is on your radar, then this is what you want to be working towards. I'll show you the movements in a seated position. So if you're not quite there yet, if standing isn't there yet, but that's where you want to be, this gives you an idea of those movements. So we start to get used to them before we move on. Okay, so it's about how our feet stand. So our first position is with our feet together, heels together, balls of the feet together. So we've got this narrow base of support. Now, whenever you do this, have some external support available. Use it if you need to. You don't want to use it while you're doing your balance check, but if you need to use it, put your hand down. The other thing to remember, I'll just move the chair out of the way for a second. The other thing to remember is, if you feel unbalanced at any point, step out, correct yourself. If you feel yourself starting to lose your balance, come on out. We're going to hold each movement for 10 seconds. And only if we do the 10 seconds do we progress on to the next movement. Okay? You'll see that we've got the 4 movements there in your diary, in your calendar, if you have it. First movement is those feet together. So, in seated, let's put my chair in slightly so you can see. In seated, we can do exactly the same. Now, to feel how that might challenge our balance, let's have a little hinge forward and a little reach as well. But this is only if standing's on your radar, if that's what you're working towards. If not, have a little go at your external rotations again. Have another go at your thigh and see how you're doing. Yeah, you might want to change it to the other side as well. You know, do both sides, because this is going to give us an idea of if we've got a difference in flexibility on one side to the other. And that flexibility there is about putting your socks on, doing your shoes up. Okay, so with our support available, so we've got it there if we need to, we bring our feet together, and when we're ready, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you manage the whole 10 seconds, give it a little tick. Yeah, make a note of the fact you did 10 seconds. If you had to put your hands down or step out, make a note of which point you did that at. So I did 7 seconds, for instance. Now, if you did, that is where we stop with the 4-point check for you. If you completed the 10 seconds, let's go on to our second element. Now, here, I'm going to show you with my hands. If this is the heel of my foot, and this is the ball of my foot, or the instep of my foot, and here's the ball of the foot with the toes, look, we place one foot with the heel into the instep. Okay, so I'll show you here, look, can you see how I go there like that? So from the side, you've got that movement. So the feet are still close together. We've now misaligned them. We've got ourselves set here, knees slightly soft, standing tall, and again we hold that for 10 seconds. Now in the seated position, again, exactly the same. Set yourself up in that same position and take a little reach diagonally. If standing is on your radar and you want to feel what it will feel like. If you want to just practice the movement as far as the feet is concerned, get that movement there, and you'll feel instantly, even seated, you can feel that actually there's a little bit less support there, there's a smaller base, and now I've made it potentially even a little bit smaller because I've brought the foot in a little bit. So now, rather than being directly side to each other, the toes are starting to line up a little bit. So get ourselves set, we get ourselves ready, we've got our support available, ready to step out if we need to, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Step out of it. Finish that, okay? So if you manage your 10 seconds, make a note of it. You did 10 seconds, give it a tick. If you manage your 10 seconds, we're going to move on to our third progress check as far as our balance is concerned. If you didn't, if you had to step out, make a note of the time you did, and that is the end of that for you. Okay, let's move ourselves forward then. So we're going on to our third movement, which is to line the feet up. So here, like this now, lining those feet up. The heel of one foot is against the toes of the other, not totally against it, but in line with it. So we're here, look, that position there. Shift your weight even across both feet. And this one, we're really going to start to challenge your balance. Look forward. Now in seated, that's quite a difficult position to get to. You're going to have to bring the other foot back a little bit first to come there. And again, you might want to put that a little bit of a hinge in and a little bit of a reach. Choice is yours, okay? So, get ourselves set ourselves in, line those feet up. I'm going to count it out just so we've got, because I haven't got a timer with me today. I normally, sometimes I have a timer, but I haven't today. So here we are, standing tall. Weight across both feet, and I might feel already that you've got that little bit of movement in your ankles. You ready? Let's go with our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Step out. And again, remember, you can always step out at any point or put your hand down on that spot. That is your third movement. So again, if you manage the 10 seconds, give it a tick, put 10 seconds. If you had to step out at 7, for instance, make a note of the fact that 7 was the point you got to. If you manage the full 10, we move on to number 4. And number 4 is a one-leg stand. So here we have the support available next to us. We're going to bring one foot off the floor and we're going to support ourselves on just that one leg. Again, we're aiming for 10 seconds, but if you need to step out, you step out, okay? Have your support available. In seated, what you can do for this one is lift the foot off the floor and hold it there. Now just be aware, this is a big movement as far as your hip flexors is concerned. So if you want to feel what it is like to be on one foot, you might want to extend the leg away a little bit so you're not so severe into your hip flexor. Okay, so are we ready? Standing tall, we get ourselves ready, we've got our support available if we need it, the knee is soft, and we come up and we go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, foot down. Toe down first through to your heel. There we are. That is our 4-point balance check. Done. Right, our next movement is going into our sit to stand, okay? And we need 30 seconds for this. So, okay, can you set me, you can't do a 30-second timer, can you? Oh, I can get Alexa to do it for me. So, we'll get ourselves ready. So, our sit to stand, from here, if we're in the back of the chair, we've sat up tall, we've hip walked to the front of the chair, and then from here, heels slightly behind our knees, we're going to press down through our heels as we hinge forward slightly, power up, and come back down. With control, always sit down with control. We're going to measure the number of times we can do that, sit to stand, in 30 seconds. So, let me get Alexa ready. Are you ready? Alexa, set a 30-second timer.
30 seconds, starting now.
Okay, rise and lower. Okay, keep a count of them and make a note of whether you're having to use any support. If you're using the arms of the chair to push yourself up, for instance. Yeah, and we keep going. Just counting them in your head or counting them out loud. Choice is yours. We're making a note of how many times we can do that movement within the 30 seconds. And remember, it's a controlled movement the whole time. Yeah? Keep going. There is our 30 seconds. So how many did you do? Alexa, stop. Make a note of that. There is our progress checks. Okay, so that's our progress checks done. Let's move on to our movement of the month. It is our upper back strengthener. We did this the other day during, yesterday, didn't we, during our snack. I hadn't realised that it was in here. So, a towel. Tea towel, a towel, something stretchy, a band if you've got one. Those are the sorts of things that you want, okay? Let's have a look at it firstly with a tea towel. So in the front third of the chair again, tea towel, open it up, just let it come into various folds and lay it across your lap. We scoop it up underneath with our palms towards the ceiling. From there we've got a little bit of tension in the middle and the movement is the elbows in, okay? So we pull apart, and you're not going to see much movement in towel or tea towel. We draw it in towards our belly button, keeping the elbows in so the shoulder blades really squeeze together. Come forward and release. So if you have a towel or a tea towel, that is your movement. You want to incorporate this into your monthly or weekly program. Probably aim for 3 times a week. Build it up. And number of times that you do it, build that up as well. So as you feel more comfortable with it, add more in. But we don't want to go too far. So probably no more than about 8 would be where you'd be aiming for. Around about 3, 4, 5, those sorts of things to start off with. Okay, so if you've got a band, again, scoop it up, hold it there, draw apart, keeping the elbows in, draw it in towards your belly button, keeping the shoulders drawn together and the elbows in, come forward and release. Now, if you feel that resistance isn't much and you're having to take it a lot further before you feel anything, bring your hands closer together so you've got more resistance to start off with. Yeah? The other thing you could do is you could fold your band in 2. So you've now got a bit more resistance in there as well, and you probably feel that straight away. Yeah? So same movement. Scoop it up, underneath, draw apart, in towards your belly button, keeping the elbows in, squeeze the shoulder blades together, come forward and release. And that is your movement of the month. So this is going to help with things like opening doors, opening drawers, those sorts of things. If you have the calendar, we are in June, look. Here are your instructions on how to do it. Here's some guidance for you. 1, 3 or 5 per day is what you want to try and aim to do. Try and do it at least 3 times a week if you can. Build it in. If you can do it up to the daily, then that is brilliant. And this is going to help with the strength of the muscles between your shoulder blades. So things like opening drawers, opening doors, those sorts of things. But also, when we talk about our posture, shoulders up, back and down, it's those muscles there that are helping as far as that posture is concerned. There we go, that is your progress check and your movement of the month for today. A little extra snack for you today. I'm not here with you today and I'm not here with you tomorrow in a proper snack. I will see you on Thursday at 12 noon for a snack. Have a great couple of days, everybody. Stay mobile, stay active, and keep crowbarring in additional activities. Crowbar in your upper back whenever you get a chance. Take care. Bye-bye.